And a living human being knows that to reach life itself, to reach that which he has in his mind, you need a Rebbe to reach the top. He can say things that don't make sense to me at first glance, but I'll make an effort and dig in and I'll find it in myself, one way or another.
My,
yes, sir.
My reaction
yes, sir.
Is that when you started talking about song, we both answered about when you started talking about song and learning. Both reactions of him were related to a real song. You were talking about the internal song in the human being that relates to, that gives him the possibility to relate to Hashem.
I'm saying that after learning or doing your learning, somehow you express your experience in a song. Where does this song come from? It's a well-known thing. You're going to the Medrash, people learning Gemara. It's inevitable that you hear somebody scream out and sounding. This one is all the way through. Constantly, a niggin is kind of the conclusion of a certain piece of labor. So my question was a point-blank question. Which one preceded? And I'm concluding in my own mind that the song preceded the understanding. It is the song that called for and say, you can understand it. But it doesn't make any sense. You can understand it. Because you can sing it. If you can sing it, you ultimately can understand. All right.
So maybe we should start the shiur with a niggun.
Maybe start a niggun with a smile, with a dedication. Say, okay, let's go. That's a niggun.
And conclude with a niggun too.
Okay, so we will continue where we left off on page Kuf Nun Dalet, and it is several lines below the Kuf Yud Gimel marker on the side of the page. Shah, we're learning. Excuse me.
I'm singing a niggun.
Okay, let's start from the line that begins with Harehu. Vov Hei Hei, Harehu Poyel. The Milo, we said, the Koyach is not Chosed HaPoyel. And we were careful to emphasize that the expression is HaPoyel, not Chosed Poyel, but Chosed HaPoyel. We say HaPoyel means the Poyel that is already included in the Koyach. How is the Poyel included in the Koyach? And the answer is, the Koyach is sourced in the Neshama, is sourced in the real reality. That source is wholesome. That source is not just a superficial experience. That source is a Neshama purpose. And the Neshama purpose is to bring it down all the way to poil, to be effective. So although at first it expresses itself only in the koyach form, but the koyach is not lacking the poil, the ultimate effect that this has, this can have. It's not lacking. Why is it not lacking? Because the koyach itself is on a factual level, a factual experience. Koyach is not a theoretical, a projection. The koyach is a real experience at the level of koyach. Like we just now finished saying. That you have a song. The song is like the koyach of the learner. Therefore, this koyach is harehu poil. This koyach is actually poil. It actually has an effect. It's a factual reality. It is not a what we call potential, a possibility. It's a real thing. On the koyach level. B'arei yodua, behold, it is known shehapoyel hu k'mei madregas hakoyach. That the poyel that's contained in the koyach is according to like the madrega of the koyach itself. So even though it's a poyel, but the poyel is as intangible as the koyach itself. The madrega of the koyach. וכמי שקוסם מזה בדרוש יום טוב של ראש השון ריב סמך וו. V'hainu, this means, or let me just bring back the context of this discussion. The context is, since Hashem knew everything before, so how come the worlds weren't created from this knowledge directly? This is a second question, a more broader question of if Hashem knew what the person is going to choose, so how come we say there is a choice? Now we're asking on a broader level, how come at the time when Hashem thought of the creation, it came into being, it was created by the way. So we said it was created b'koyach, but not b'poyel. But the koyach itself was b'poyel, was as a reality of the koyach, not a potential of the koyach. Because the koyach is not choser hapoyel. It's not lacking its poyel. The koyach is a real koyach. It is not a projection, it's a real koyach. Therefore, the koyach is poyel, is active, and has an effect. And the poyel is k'mei madregas hakoyach. It's on the same madrega as the koyach itself, as it says in the Torah Samach Vav. V'hainu, which means that this principle that we keep on saying, that as soon as it entered Hashem's will and Hashem's thought, lahab is ho'ilamas, to bring the worlds forth, kvar nizhavu b'koyach. At that moment, they already became created b'koyach. It's a real creation. V'arei zeh poyach. Thus, this is a real nizhavus. And therefore it is a poyel of a nizhavus. It is not a potential, it is a real presence. However, so we're explaining, it's a poyel, so but still needs to be created. Hine, but what we need to understand is, behold, ha poyel hu b'madregas hakoyach. The poil is in Madriga, it is a poil, but the poil itself is in the Adrig of the koyach. Koyach is also a creation. Again, koyach does not mean potential. Koyach means the actual reality at the koyach level.
That doesn't clarify.
Huh?
That didn't help clarify.
Okay, fair enough. Before the class, we asked a question: which comes first, the nigun or the learning, or the understanding? And after a brief discussion, we introduced the idea that yes, the nigun preceded the learning. How so? In actuality, the nigun is clearly after the learning. But it is the internal nigun that enabled the learning. On what basis do you come to learn things that you don't know anything about? And you said even the words, you have to start struggling with putting the words together.
So to over here,
Which means that because you have the essence of it at the nigun level. This is the koyach. The koyach is a poil, it's a factual presence in the nefesh order and in our intellect. It's a factual presence in our intellect at the koyach level. The very simple meaning and illustration of this.
And it's just getting a little misty because it just sounds like using koyach like some kind of etzem, atzmi, sort of. It's the actuality at the etzem level, so it's not yet actual. It just maybe that's it. Maybe we just sort of.
I don't. Well, one second. Before you paraphrase it and all that, let's understand as it is being presented. Let's understand it with the song that is being presented, rather than how we paraphrase it and put it in our little pocket. The reason we do it, we're attempting to do that immediately, is because we were trained to think like a machine, like a scientist.
It just
How
seemed
does it prove it?
like you were defining the term, but you used the term itself in explaining
Didn't
it. It seemed like you were trying to clarify the term koyach, but you used the term koyach itself in the explanation. So I said that doesn't help me see what's being described.
Yes, because you have a koyach. So I'm alluding to the koyach that you have, and you think back into your own experience of koyach. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. The koyach that we're talking about is not the koyach that we can demonstrate in a practical way. The koyach is the koyach that we sense in our seichel.
Would it be fair to think of etzem as
Etzem is in a different level.
Uh-huh.
But the koyach, what is the reason, point blank, that you can teach a child to behave responsibly and meaningfully and carefully and respectfully? I'm talking about a very fundamental level. And you teach a child to say thank you, teach a child to say hello. It's a mamish, so to speak, base level. You cannot teach that to lahabel a dog. You can train a dog for years. He will not understand what it's like. If you only know that if he doesn't do that, he's going to get a hit over the head. But as a child, it relates to what you're teaching him. Where should you get it from? This is the very same seichel that you're teaching on the bekoyach level. When you take a child to cheder to teach, to learn, not taking a robot and start developing his knowledge. You're taking a singing human being who sings from his neshama and from at the seichel level, and yes, he experiences life at the neshama and the intellectual level. Before you start. Just to illustrate a very simple point, and really, if you think about it, it boggles the mind. Children play, I'm talking about children play among themselves. Every play has rules of the game. What is that? What is rules of the game? How do they relate to it? A game is not just a physical competition. A game is a real experience. That is as an intellectual concept. Okay? Okay, so let's go to the line that begins with Harei Poi. The worlds were in fact created as soon at the time when the Rebbe wanted. They were created immediately, but they were created b'koyach, at the koyach level. The real creation at the koyach level. And that b'koyach level is a real creation, is poil. But here, and the line begins with Harei Hine ha'peil madrigas ha'koyach. The poil is a madriga of the koyach. Loishin is havu bebchinas mitzias yesh bepoil. Oh, this is the next challenge. Yes, they were created b'koyach, but not that they were created in bechina of mitzias yesh bepoil in actuality. And again, as we did the previous time, we always do, bebchinas mitzias yesh. What is the bechina of mitzias yesh? Mitzias yesh is a tangible and presence. What is the bechina of mitzias yesh? Bechina means the concept, essentially. What is the concept of mitzias yesh? Here we say that we're created b'poil. But the poil is b'koyach, not b'bchinas mitzias yesh. The difference between Bekoyach and Bebchinet Metzius Yesh is again we'll use a method of moshel, of demonstration. If you invite a guest to your home, or you have a chassan or whatever, you invite a guest to your home, it's simple. You will prepare for him a seat and a place setting, and you also will present him with a hefty meal. So far we are talking about the concept of this invitation. It is clear that you are invited him and he's your guest, and you were expressing this concept in various ways. So you're still talking about the concept of the invitation. There is no entity called guest entertainment. It's all related to the concept of the invitation. When you're actually serving the meal, where the meal itself, as it is standing on the table, does not directly speak of the fact that he's an invited guest. For all you know, he came and asked you for food, he was hungry, so you gave him a meal. This is what Metzius Yesh. Something that is reduced completely to the factual presence. There is not a concept behind it, a koyach. There's not anything that preceded that fact. The invitation is a koyach. That preceded the fact, the Metzius. Metzius Yesh is a Metzius Yesh that is present all the way down to the Metzius Yesh level. It could have been elicited and brought about by very various causes. But it's a Metzius Yesh, it's a real presence. So when we have a concept, even in case like in this case, you invite a person, ultimately, it has to come down all the way down to the point of Metzius Yesh. But the invitation by itself does not represent the Metzius Yesh. The invitation by itself represents the song of their relationship, so to speak. It's not the Metzius Yesh. In order that there be a Metzius Yesh, you have to sit on his seat, and you have to actually serve and set up the place setting and all that, which is a different level than the Bekoyach, than the invitation itself. This Metzius Yesh requires a creation process of its own. It's not a directed reflection of a direct result of the koyach, of the invitation. The invitation is created by koyach, but not in prayer. If you do not then go and actually actively create the Metzius Yesh, it will not happen. So that the koyach does not directly create the Mitzvah Sheish. Mitzvah Sheish has to be created directly. That's a good point.
Rabbi PALTIEL.
Yeah. Yes, brother.
And
1 second. Let me just point out. We are on the line that begins with the word Hagam, which is what we're going to start after Baruch's question. Yes, Baruch.